So yesterday we started knowing more about IOC containers, right? We understand that to create and maintain the classes whichever we create for backend, we need containers. Earlier, while we are implementing in EJB servlets, we used to deploy them into web servers or application servers. There they used to manage it. There they used to manage your classes. But Spring removed all that dependencies. They made it simple. So your application may be a small scale one or a large scale one. You need not to depend on containers to manage your objects. As all these classes are your for a particular use case you implemented them. And to run these classes you really need not to depend on any servers. As these all are simple classes that you have implemented for a purpose. So Spring provided as self-containers instead we depending on aftermarket, right? I mean, once you develop the code, you need to purchase some server ABCD, JBoss server, logic web spare. There you should deploy your applications. They removed that dependency. Just if you can add Spring framework to your application, it will enable you to run your classes with the support of IOC container. So just your classes you need to configure into XML file and you have to load that XML into IOC. That's it. It will create your objects. And so many advantages it will provide to us. After this object creation is the main job of this IOC container. Along with that, it is providing one more beautiful feature is dependency injection. Not only creating your object. As you need to connect these classes, right? Earlier, when I used to create object, inside controller class, I used to create a business object here so that I can call business methods if I create object. From DAO, from business class to call DAO, I used to create DAO class object here so that I can make calls. But once we started using IOC, we are not creating any such objects here. IOC is creating them. Okay, you are not creating, IOC creating it. But how I can make calls if I don't have availability of B class object here? How I can make a call from controller to business? If business class also doesn't have, or if it doesn't have reference of this DO class object, how it can make calls here? We can't able to make calls. IOC is creating objects. So is there any way that can I ask IOC to provide this DAO class object into business class and this business class object into controller class? Is there any way that IOC can support here? Means yes. Once after this objects creation, IOC can able to provide these objects to you. It can able to pass DO object reference to business object reference to controller object. So that controller can able to make calls to business can able to make calls to DO, which is called dependency injection. We call it as dependency injection. We call it as dependency injection. Dependency injection. Dependency injection will create a bridge between two layers. Dependency injection will create a bridge between two layers, controller to business to DAO. Between any two layers, right, it will construct a bridge. Dependency injection. In simple words, whichever objects IOC will create, right, it will pass that object references wherever you want. More in detail about the dependency injection we will see. That is very main important core feature. Creating objects will not is not sufficient for you. When you get a data from view, controller will read the data later on. How you can forward it? If you want to forward it, you need to have connection between the two layers. IOC can able to create object, but will it able to provide connections between that objects? Means yes, it will do that job as well. Not only creating objects, it can create connections between them, between your classes. Basically, we achieve this by using dependency injection concept, right? Not only simple objects creation is not sufficient for me. It need to connect them as well. IOC can do that easily. Okay. So let's talk more about it. Okay. Let's talk more about this dependency injection concept. So first topic we understand how IOC containers, how IOC containers creating objects. IOC containers can create object using singleton principle. Only one object it is creating, though you request it for 100 times. Single object. Okay. And the second thing is it can connect your classes. Connect any two classes. Any two classes it can able to connect. It can able to connect. Okay. So we achieve this by using dependency injection. We achieve this by using dependency injection. Very, very important concept. Okay. Let's talk more about dependency injection here. What is dependency injection? What is dependency injection? IOC container is providing support. Okay. So let's say if I am implementing a use case for registration, I am creating a controller class, business class, DO classes here. Listen carefully. Okay. For any use case, we will implement controller business DAOs. Controller business and the DAO classes. Now, while implementing these classes, you are the developer, you will be implementing them. Okay. If I give a screen like registration screen with name, email, address, then you will start designing that screen front end. After front end, you will write controller business DAO. Here, front end form is having some fields. So, for that field name, email, address, for all that, you will be creating controller business DAO. As a developer, you will do that. While developing these classes or while writing these classes, every class will have some dependencies. Every class will have some dependencies. Alone, you can't write a simple class. Let's say if I start from DAO, I want to implement first all CRUD operations. As my form is required, save operation, update operation, delete operation. So firstly, what we will ensure, we will check whether table is there in database or not. First we will check whether table is there or not. First step. Okay. So we'll create table here, something student table with all required fields. In the front end, if I have ID, name, email, I'll keep the same fields here. Okay. Table is ready. Then my focus will go to Java classes. I need to create Java classes. Table is okay. It is available in my RKDB or my SQLDB. Table is available. Now I need to implement a DAO class. So here I may need from this front end, right? My requirement is I want to save data, save update, delete, select. Usually every form will have such basic operations: save, update, delete. So to save data into this table, or to update, to delete, or to select, I need CRUD operations here. Maybe a save method, update method, delete method, and select method. I need to implement them. But to connect with the database, DAO class, to connect with the database, DAO class need connections. DAO class need a connection. These database connections I required here. Generally, in core Java, what we do, inside save method or inside update method, we will write few lines, right? Class dot for name. There we will load driver class, then driver manager dot get connection. Then we will get connection from database. Everywhere we will write that code. But in real time, that is not a recommended way. You should not create connection every time for every user request. Basically, your application will not work if you do that way. Instead of that, what we will do, we will use connection pools in real time. Connection pool techniques we will use. So we will create connection pool with all available connections from database. Let's say database, if it is giving 20 connections, we will bring 20 connections into connection pool, or whichever number of connections required. We will create a connection pool object. Using that connection pool object only, we will do all the CRUD operations. So my DAO class alone will not work. My DAO class need help of connection pool class. Connection pool is required for me here in this DAO. So if something is required you here, then you can call it as a dependency. DAO is having dependency. On connection pool. So at any cost, DAO need a connection pool here. DAO need connection pool reference here. On the instance level, I need to declare and I need to make it available, so that my save method, update method, delete method can able to use this connection pool across all these methods. While doing save or update, delete, it can able to fetch the connection. So DAO's dependency is connection pool. DAO's dependency is connection pool. So you need to make it available here. Connection pool, you need to make it available here. And anything, I think that is sufficient for DAO. Using connections, it can able to exchange the data between table and this class. It can easily able to save data or update, delete. Now coming to business class, I am receiving data from controller. So I want to send the same data to DAO. Here also I have methods like business methods: create student, update student, delete student, select student, or find student methods I have. So from here my methods wants to call DAO class methods. Okay, create student want to call save method, update student want to call update method, delete wants to call delete, find wants to call select methods. And DAO using connection pool, it will fetch connections and it can do save, update, delete, select operations on database. Now my business class wants to call DAO methods. That means business class is having dependency of DAO. This methods wants to call this class methods. So DAO will become dependency for your business class. So somehow you need to make it available, your DAO reference here. DAO should available here. This DAO should available here. So your DAO is dependency. This DAO is a dependency here. And coming to controller. Controller is receiving data from front end. Controller is receiving data from front end. So here you have methods like create student, maybe same business method naming convention, or here maybe you can call post method, for update put method, for delete http delete method, for find you may have get method. Okay, you may have all http methods, post, put, to delete, to get. These methods will receive data from front end. From here I want to call business methods. So business is dependency for controller. So from here this methods wants to call the respective business methods from here. So if they want to call these methods, you need business object here. So the business is dependency here for controller. So this business object, we should make it available. We should make it available here. Business object is dependency here. Then what about UI? Is controller is not dependency for UI? Of course dependency, but you need not to bother. Whenever you submit a request, that request will be connected via web servers. So your request directly can able to forward to post, to put, to delete, to get methods. Based on your button, automatically they will come to controller. From here Java journey will start. Controller object is available, business object is available, DO object is available, connection pool object is available. Okay, independently all they are available, but we need to connect them. I have a car without tires or without rims. I need to integrate them. All parts separately I have. Car body, steering, wheels, engine, all are having separately. So you need to integrate them. You need to connect all them together. Then your car will run with fear. So I know how to create connection pool, DAO, business controller, but how I can able to supply that dependencies here. I have some dependencies also during writing this code. I need some other object dependencies. So via dependency injection concept, you can able to connect to them. Using dependency injection concept, you can connect them. So we will be using DA concept here, to pass the required dependencies. Right? My DO class required connection pool dependency. Business class required DO dependency. Controller required business dependency. Okay. So that's why I call dependency injection definition, right? Like what I say is, if any class requires any data, if any class requires any data, using dependency injection, you can pass it. This is object, right? Any data means what? Anything, not only object. If your DO class need any information here, some string data, number or port numbers, whatever it is, collections, whatever you want, we can able to pass everything via dependency injection. But majorly dependency injection we use to pass objects, to pass objects, to pass objects. Okay. Other features also we have in dependency injection, but majorly dependency injection use is to pass the objects of other classes into required class. Like DAO needs connection pool, business needs DAO, controller needs business. When they need each other object, we can easily able to inject them using dependency injection concept. I'll give you one example. I'll give you one example. We'll continue further yesterday's example. Okay. In yesterday example, we created one controller, business, DAO. So here is our IOC example. So this is my DAO class, business class, and controller classes I have. We don't have any methods. Let's say I have DAO here, but no methods. Okay. As you all comfortable with the DAO also, right? Sorry, JDBC, right? You all comfortable with JDBC? Are you all comfortable? Yes? Yeah. If anybody not aware of JDBC, let me know or raise your hand. At least you should have done simple JDBC example. Java code connecting with database. Shravani, you haven't seen uh, JDBC? Okay. So basically JDBC concept we use to connect with databases. Okay. So to connect with the database, we use JDBC concept. Without the JDBC API, Java program will not able to connect with the databases. Okay. So the main purpose of JDBC is connecting Java with the databases. Connecting Java with the databases. Okay. You will understand it easily. Um, Now let me give you example. This example only, right? Let me continue furthermore. Okay, furthermore, and add some methods in it. Okay, same use case I'm going to show you. So it helps you a lot to understand the dependency injection in depth. Okay, if I give simple example class student like that, it will not, you know, for real time it will not really, you know, you can't able to understand it. Okay, let me give you one more package com dot rpu dot sms dot util. One more package I'm creating. There I'll create a connection pool, but not a big connection pool. I'll create simple connection. I'll create. Okay. So something we will call class I'm creating. Private string driver name. So just adding dependencies. Okay. Let's observe. Connection pool class I'm creating. It has some dependencies. Driver name. This is dependency one. URL dependency two. Username dependency three. And password dependency four. Using all this, I can able to create a connection. I can able to create a connection here. I can able to create a connection here. So DB connection class, DB con class is having these all dependencies. 4 dependencies. I'll create a simple connection here using all this public connection get connection. Here I'll create one static connection object. If not static, normal object also. Yeah. If connection is null, this is the singleton way of coding. Okay. Really, this is not required while we are using advanced programming, but a small example I'm giving you. If connection is null, which means if not available, I'll be creating a connection object here. Class dot for name, driver name should load here. Then connection equal to driver manager dot get connection. We should pass URL, username, password here. So here to create connection, I need driver name, URL, username, password. So these all are my dependencies. I don't want hard code here. I don't want hard code here. Using dependency injection, I can pass them. Not only object, dependency injection will allow you to pass any data. Okay. So here I am trying to passing string variables, driver name, URL, username, passwords. From where I can pass, I'll show you. Exception. Okay. So it is creating connection. If connection is null, then create it, or else return it. Return the same connection. Okay. So here it will create connection. For our understanding sake, we'll put one SOP statement. Get connection method is calling or not, we can observe. Okay. Now this DB connection class is having this get connection method. Okay. I need this DB connection class inside my DAO so that my DAO can able to call CRUD operations. Okay. So I need in DAO class, I need DB connection class private DB call. This is my dependency. So this is dependency 5. This class is having 4 dependencies. The next class is having 5th dependency. So here I want to have CRUD operations. Public void save something integer ID, string name, email, address. This is all I want to save it into database. Simple save method we will do. So to do CRUD operation, I need a connection. But for connection, you need not to worry. Via dependency injection, this one will come here. So I can get connection here. Using get connection method, I can get a connection here. I can get a connection here. Once I get connection, you know how to handle CRUD operations. Connection dot create statement. Yeah, this is the JDBC code. This is how we will write. We create a connection, then we will create a statement. Using the statement, we'll do CRUD operations like save, update, delete. Statement dot execute update. I want to do insert operation. Insert into student table. I want to insert ID, name, email, address, whichever I am getting. So here I can save them. ID, comma, uh, name, email, address. Okay, when I execute it, it will insert data. So finally, you may close your statement. I'll keep connection still alive because next time someone else can use. Okay, that's it. But how to pass this here? How to pass these values here? Who is passing them? How we will pass them? As a developer, you need to do that. But you are not hard coding it. If you hard code driver name, URL, username, password here, your code will become tightly coupled with the database. Let's say today I am using MySQL, MySQL database here in development. If I hard code MySQL driver name, MySQL URL, username, password, In future, if you want to change from MySQL to Oracle, or if you want to change username passwords, again you need to interrupt your class. Here you need to put your edits changes. Instead of that, you can pass these values from XML file. For that, you just can have here setter methods. Set driver name. Using this method from XML file, I can pass a driver name, set URL, set username, set password. I can call the setter methods from XML file and I can pass the data. So dependency 1, driver name, injected. Just for your understanding sake, SOP added here. Dependency 2, URL injected. When this method executed, that you need to believe the value is injected. Username injected. Why I am writing this SOP is when I call setter method, this SOP will execute so that you can see whether that value really is applied here or not. Okay. So you mean that when I have dependencies here, do I need to put setter methods? Yes. In old days, we used to do this. Okay. I'll be showing you advanced programming later. But in old days, we used to do this. Okay. Just a minute. Chapter. Okay. So here I have 4 dependencies. For these dependencies, I need setter methods. This is old way of coding, but yeah, we will see advanced level later. Okay, because in interviews they will ask if you have dependencies, how you will pass the dependencies. Then we need to give answer. We can inject using setter method, using constructor, and using annotations also. Okay, this is the first way. Dependency injection we can perform. This DI we can perform, right, in many ways. When you want to inject an object into your class or any properties into your class, dependency injection can be achieved using setter methods, constructor, and annotation also. There is a value annotation and auto wired annotation. They will help. They will help you. So which one we are seeing? Setter method. Using setter method, how to pass these dependencies here. And coming to DO class, of course, here also you need setter method. But the data types are different. Here these data types are simple string. Here this data type is a Java class. Another class itself has a dependency. Now I want to call the save method from business. So then your DO will become dependency here. Private DAO dependency here. Public void create student int ID string name string email string address. So from where I will get? From controller. Okay, here by using save method I can pass same name, email ID, address to DAO so that they will save. And this DAO is dependency here. Dependency number is already 4, 5, this is 6. Sixth dependency. So for this dependency, I need a setter method here. So inside business class, DAO injected. Now business is dependency in controller. Private student business, set student business. So this is dependency 7. So here you can have controller method public void post student with same parameters, int id, string name, string email, string address, and you can call business dot create student. When you pass same parameters, when you pass this data from this method, it will go to your business method. So here business method is sending to DO method, DO method sending it to database. Now, yeah. So until here code is clear. Now we will get the student controller object in this main class. Let me create one more main class. Okay, for testing. Application context AP equal to new class path XML application context resources slash SMS hyphen string.xml ap.getBean of student controller. This is a different way of getting object. Without ID also I can get this object like this. Okay, student controller object. So from here I can pass student controller dot post to student. I can give data here. I can give data here. That's it. Now the main job is dependency injection. You created all dependencies while writing code, right? I started coding. I found these are my dependencies, so I kept dependencies and setter methods. Then I continued my coding. Then DAO, controllers, business, everything I implemented. But at the dependency is not injected. That you need to perform now. You created all dummy classes, but injections not happened yet. That you need to do. Okay. So create a DAO object also here. dbcon. It is there in util package. In the util package we have dbcon class. Now into each class we need to pass dependencies. dbcon class, how many dependencies it have? 4. Driver name, URL, username, password. And for that 4 variables I have 4 setter methods. Now from XML file I should declare which values I want to pass into this setter method. Into driver name, which value I should pass. Into URL, what value I need to pass. That I should declare into here in XML file. Okay, which injection we will need to do here? Setter injection. Okay, this is just XML comment. Okay, this is comment only. So setter injection, how we will do? There is a tag name called property. For each property, for each variable, we will use this property tag. For each variable, we will use this property tag. How many we have? Driver name, URL, username, password. So each property you need to pass here. Driver name. When you put property driver name, what it will call? setter method of driver name. What is the setter method of driver name? Set driver name. This method will be executed. Similarly, if I call URL, it will call setter method of URL. Same way, username, password. So driver name, value, com dot oracle dot jdbc dot oracle driver. If you are using Oracle, user class is available. Let me see the path. Oracle driver. It is there in oracle.jdbc.driver, oracle.jdbc.driver. Okay. Oracle.jdbc.driver. No comment. Oracle.jdbc.oracle driver. URL to connect with Oracle database. JDBC colon, Oracle colon, in colon, enter it localhost colon, 1521. Next. This is standard code, okay? JDBC standard code. Username, password. System, password, ID. Okay, four properties I passed it here. Driver name, URL, username, password. What is the benefit if I do from XML? In future, whenever you want to change username, passwords or URLs, you can directly come to XML and you can do the modifications. So enhancements are simple. Okay. What next? The fifth dependency. We need to call, we need to pass this DB call. Again, setter method only. For setter method, we will use property tag. And the variable is DB call. What I should pass here? Object. This DO class is having what dependency? This object dependency. DB call. Object itself is a dependency now. Earlier, simple driver name, URL, username, password, strings are a dependency. So I have passed them here. Now this object is dependency. So for this object, when this object is created, how it will hold this object? It will hold that object with IDs, right? Whatever object is created with IDs, it will remember, right? IOC. So this is the ID. I can pass that ID here as a reference. If it is an object, right, we will use a reference attribute. If it is an object, we will use reference. If it is a simple string, we will use value. So as this is the object, using a reference, I am passing it. That's it. Now this object is injected into DO class. What next? DO injected into business class. DO need to inject into business class. The sixth dependency is student DO. So the property is student DO. And here you need to pass reference. Which class reference? Your DO class reference, D. The next controller class. Property. What is the dependency? Business. Seventh dependency is business. And this is again a business class reference. We need to pass a ref. What is the business class reference name? B. I need to pass here. That's it. End to end you created objects and dependency injections also you performed. Now your coding is fulfilled. You completed your coding. First you created all your classes and all your methods with all your dependencies with setters. Now you performed all that dependency injections here. Now when you run this client, this data should go to until DO class here and it should insert into student table. But we should make sure that that student table is available or not. So I have Archill database here. Let me log in. Select star from student. Yeah, I have a table with ID, name, email address. Let me drop and recreate. Drop table student. Okay. Create table student ID number primary key name varchar2 and email address. So table created. This is the table script if you want. I'll put somewhere in this example. So this is the table. SQL query. Okay, everything is ready. Shall I go here and run it? And I should able to see also record on table if I run it. See, lot of output statements I received. Controller object, business object, DAO object, and DBCon object also must be created. And see, setter methods executed so that it is showing DI1 injected, DI2, DI3, DI4, and DI5 also injected DBCon. Then DBCon injected into DAO, DAO injected into business, business injected into controller. Finally, when I try to save, finally connection also it is getting and saving data into database. So if you believe that it is working fine, you should have record into table. Select star from student. Also record got inserted here. The record got inserted here. So your dependency injection performed successfully. Your end-to-end logic executed successfully. What happened here, if you try to understand, I created all my classes as a developer, but while creating my classes, I kept these properties as a dependencies. Whichever properties I used to hard code, I kept them as dependencies so that I got advantages of passing that dependencies from this XML file. So this advantage making you comfortable in future changes. When you want to do a driver change or URL username password change, comfortably I can do change here. Not only that, this DAO is connecting with Archill. I don't want this DAO in future. Easily I can able to remove this DAO and I can add new DAO here. And that new DAO reference I can pass here. Similarly, business. So all these are dynamically at runtime via XML file I am passing so that making changes will become simple. Each as an independent spare part I designed them. So easily I can integrate them. I can remove one and I can add new thing. Earlier we used to hard code it like CDMA phone. Now we make things dynamic via XML file. Now it's up to you which one you want to continue with. So in future, if you don't want, this is like an adapter, like sim adapter. You can easily remove this adapter and you can add new sim there. Such an advantage you have here as a developer. Once after creating your code, which all dependencies you need, just you declared that dependencies with setter methods. Later on, you are passing them from XML file. Of course, phone needs a sim. During manufacturing of the phone, I'm not putting any direct SIMs into the phone. I'm just making a phone with the SIM slot by assuming that after completion of phone designing, I'll insert the SIM. Same way, I'm creating all my classes. I'm creating all my classes just by assuming that these values I will get anywhere from XML file and continuing my coding here. Later on completion of code, I'll just remember what all dependencies I declared across my classes. I'll go to XML and from there I'll pass them. So that it is making us comfortably. Even database also you can change in future. If you don't want this, you can change your database without any second thought. You need not edit any class. Go here, change it Oracle to MySQL, MySQL URL, MySQL username, password. It will work as usual without any issues. Such a flexibility we got here. So that is what all about dependency injection. We'll see more in detail dependency injection in next session. Okay, dependency injection we do in many ways. For many properties we can use this. Just we see only strings here, right? Simple strings and objects. Not only these, we can pass anything here. Anything. I'll challenge anything. Anything we can pass and advanced concepts further we will see. Okay, the main key for Spring is dependency injection only. This is the main key for Spring, object creation and dependency injection. Okay, object creation and dependency injection is the main key. Okay, further we will discuss about it, in next 4 or 5 sessions. Okay, don't worry, we'll be getting end-to-end knowledge. Am I clear?